It is my life. This is my mission. This is what I'm doing. I want to inspire everyone out there to be better, to our background,
Yes.
to leave this planet better than we found it, and to speak for those who don't have a voice. And yeah, so I'm lucky that I can do this full time now, and we're growing. So I'm actually in the midst of hiring a part-time person.
Hello and welcome back. I thank you for tuning in with us on this afternoon. AU Studios, I am your host, Dr. Maya Bird Stewart. We have a fantastic show for you today. We've got an awesome young lady in the room with us. I'm ecstatic about the information that she'll share with us. I'm ecstatic about what we will learn today. So without further ado, I'll let us know. Miss Sophie Ringel is in the room with us. Sophie is the founder and CEO of Clean Miami Beach, a 501c3 organization located right here in the heart of Miami Beach. And so Sophie is going to share with us. She's going to talk to us and share with us and impart in us a lot of good information that allows us to better understand why it's important to keep our environment clean. And not only that, she's going to give us clues and strategies and ideas as to how we too can make a contribution. So without further ado, hello, Sophie, and welcome. How are you?
What a warm welcome. I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. Absolutely. And I hope you're okay as well.
Absolutely, Sophie. I think certainly before the show started, I said to you that I was excited about you being here. I expect to learn a lot with you being here. Without, further ado, want to just have you tell us who you are and what you do. Let's do that.
All right. So my name is Sophie. I'm the founder of Clean Miami Beach. I'm originally from Germany, and I moved to Miami Beach about 3.5 years ago. And as we all do, I love the beach. So I like to go for daily walks and enjoy nature, connect with nature, say hello to the ocean, and just, have a good time. But unfortunately, I noticed so much trash, and especially plastic. And then with further looking, I noticed everything was single-use plastic. So there were plastic bags, plastic straws, plastic cups, everything used for one time and then just left behind and sadly staying here on this beautiful planet for thousands of years. And after being upset about it for about 3 days, I decided to do something about it.
Good girl.
So I started to pick it up.
Well, there, Sophie, I like to say when I have a problem, I have a solution. You had a problem, you had a solution. But Sophie, you went beyond, like you really took your solution and you went big. With your solution. And so you created the 501c3. Mm-hmm. You have sponsors that make monetary contributions to help the company to thrive and be able to pull together the groups and do some of the events and organization, events and organize different groups in a way that you do. That's awesome. Tell us a little about a couple of your sponsors. I think you mentioned Delta Airline is now a sponsor.
Yes, I'm extremely proud. It actually just happened this week, and I actually just came from a site visit where I was scouting an area. So I apologize for not being as chic as you today.
No need. Listen, you're out there and you're in the trenches, so to say. Right. So your attire truly fits what you do. Yes.
Yeah, and so to say, I am really proud to announce this partnership with Delta Airlines, who will become a VIP sponsor for an entire year. And this is just a great honor to me to see that more and more corporations are stepping it up.
Yes.
A few months ago, I partnered with Amazon, which I was also blown away. They just opened a new hub in Opelika and decided to do a community event where they can give back to the environment instead of having a cocktail night out, you know? So that was really level up. And there's also other big corporate organizations and corporations, local, for example, Groot Hospitality. They have great nightlife locations and restaurants. And many others. Norwegian Cruise Line has requested. Zeiss has requested. So we're working with really, really amazing partners here.
And so I recall before we started recording, I remember, just saying to you, when you mentioned the Delta Airlines, and one of the first things I said is, yes, Delta should be a partner. Delta should make a contribution. They have such a large footprint. And you said something interesting. You said, well, I'm not, blameless. You talked about how, you're responsible in a way, and really just how us as individuals are responsible. And I agree, right? So I say, yes, we all make a contribution in some way. You mentioned, you drive a car and you do this and you do that. I drive a car. So we all make, have a footprint, whether it's a big footprint or a small footprint. And I say, I think the big boys, right? A Delta and a Norwegian, they make much of a bigger footprint than we do. And so I think it's important that they give back. And I said, for myself, one of the ways that I give back as it relates to, maybe my carbon footprint that I leave in terms of pollution. I don't pollute. I don't put paper on the ground, or I don't throw cans on the ground. I don't like to see it. If I'm somewhere outside and I go to put my trash in the garbage and I see trash around the garbage, I pick it up. Like, I'm just that fanatic. And I think, Sophie, and certainly you would know, for me, it seems like it comes with age. And and I think what has happened with age is a word that you've just taught me, just becoming environmentally aware, environmentally conscious, environmentally,
even inspired,
that as well. Yeah. So your group, how often do you all come together, and are you only cleaning Miami Beach, or do you offer services? Since you have such major sponsors, do you work in other areas because those sponsors kind of require that, or because those sponsors make such a large contribution that you can expand out?
Yes, absolutely. So we are focusing on Miami Beach. However, there is trash everywhere.
Yes.
People sometimes call us, and like you just mentioned, sometimes our sponsors would like to tackle a certain area because their office is close by, or it makes sense for whatever reason for them. So, and that means we are moving around, tackling different areas. And as for our public cleanups, we like to meet twice a month, sometimes even more. It depends. So our schedule is always filled with really cool and fun events where we all learn more about the environment and where we connect with nature and get inspired with what's around us. So far, we have hosted 187 cleanups.
Wow. Now, over what period of time would that be?
Since March 2019.
So between 2019, 21, 22. So in a 3-year period, you have hosted 180 events. And these are events wherein you and your group actually go in and clean up.
Correct. Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
Now, is everyone a volunteer, including yourself? Does everyone have full-time jobs and you all come together in your off time or spare time to do this, Sophie?
I am so blessed to say that I am employed for about a year now by Clean Miami Beach.
Okay.
So we have a board that decided that it is time, and it also was possible at that time.
Good.
Before, I had a full-time job and I was doing this on the side. But there was just a point where I had to say, no, this requires not just my attention. It is my life. This is my mission. This is what I'm doing. I want to inspire everyone out there to be better, to our background, to leave this planet better than we found it, and to speak for those who don't have a voice. And so I'm lucky that I can do this full time now, and we're growing. So I'm actually in the midst of hiring a part-time person.
Very good, Sophie. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. And one of the questions that I had, so cleaning the beaches, right? That pretty much means, is that just like the sand, Sophie, or is it down towards the edge of the water where there may be fish or where there may be turtles? Does that include wetlands? Like is it strictly, I guess, relegated to beaches, I think is my question.
Yeah, of course. So first off, I would like to differentiate between litter, which is what people leave behind when they go to the beach or they go to their park, they have a nice picnic or whatever and leave their things. And then we have ocean debris. That is what gets washed on shore through with every tide that comes in from the ocean, or in Biscayne Bay, just from what has been in the bay that gets washed through the storm drains. And then with every wave, every tide coming in, it gets washed ashore. So as we all know, plastic is designed to last forever. And the longer it is in the ocean, with the elements, with the sunlight, and the salts and being outdoors in general, it breaks apart into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. Those are called microplastics, and they get washed ashore also on Miami Beach on the shoreline. So every day I go and pick up these tiny mini bits of pieces and I keep them, but I come back the next day and they're already back. So
because the tide has pushed it.
Yes.
Pushed it in.
We often also find foreign trash, especially bottles that get washed away ashore from Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There is a specific bottle that only gets produced there. Yeah. And sadly, we find it every single time we go to the beach. So that is so shocking. And I have also with bites on it, with fish bites and turtle marks. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. So to answer your question, we go everywhere. We like to go to shorelines that are also not maintained by the city or county. Where they're a little hidden, where there's no parking, where there's no easy access. And then we climb through the mangroves that protect us all from hurricanes and floods. And then we climb through there and we find so much trash. Wow. And there you can see all of this has been in the water. And then I stand there and wonder, how much more is there?
Wow. Isn't that so? Wow. I'm just really mind blown, like what you're sharing. And I remember looking at your website on last night, and there was a picture where there was just so much trash that it was, I think our engineer will probably try and pull that up for us. But I just remember seeing just tons and tons. And so two things. So I want to go back to that. You talked about straws, right? For an example. One of the things that I know many cities have done is banned foam and banned plastics, right, from the beach. And it's my understanding that that was done certainly to help protect the environment, but also it has something to do with the animals. I think taking those kinds of products in, and I would imagine, it destroys their system. And sometimes we find dead animals because they have eaten a piece of straw plastic, or they've taken in foam, eaten white foam cups or something. Right. And so Tell me a bit more about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the styrofoam is the most dangerous and the worst form of plastic there is, because it never, ever goes away. I'm sure you see when you unpack your new TV and it's packed in foam that it breaks apart in these tiny little beads, right? Now imagine they float in the ocean, and for example, a manatee comes up to breathe. They don't come up with their whole mouth. They leave like their mouth half in the water and just a little half out where they inhale, and then everything that's there that just floats into their system. And it's almost impossible to clean up these tiny mini beads of this foam, styrofoam. So it is very challenging to remove it from the environment, and it is so harmful. Like you mentioned, it harms the animals. They don't know if it's plastic or if it's food. So they ingest it.
Yes.
And they die because of it. It sits in their stomach. It hurts them and they're hungry, but there's no more place for real food. We can pull up an article that I had just posted on Instagram. There was 2 weeks ago, found a dead baby sea turtle here in South Florida, a little further north. And the baby had 344 pieces of plastic in its stomach. And those small pieces were once something. They were a bottle, a straw, a container, whatever. And it ended up in the ocean. It broke into smaller pieces. It got washed ashore. Now the baby sea turtle just hatched and makes its way into the ocean and eats the plastic, thinking it's food.
Yeah. How many is turtles, I guess sea turtles? Do we have many turtles right on, like in the water right there off the beach?
Yes, it's so impressive actually.
Like while people are in the water swimming, we have turtles right there?
You could see them. Obviously they're shy and they like to come out when there's not so many humans around, but I personally have seen them here in Miami Beach.
Wow,
and
so awesome.
It's just so amazing to see turtles swim by, and it's so cute.
I think I shared with you my story about I was driving down the street, and this was on a regular street. It was 2 lanes in the community, regular street, but it was water. It was a golf area near and water near, and I saw the turtle coming across the street as I'm driving up, and quite naturally I stop and I make sure that there are no cars going either ways, to bother the turtle. Needless to say, some character behind me hits my car while I stopped, and I was stopped in the middle of the street for a good cause, right? For a good cause. There's a turtle going across the street. The only thing you can do is stop or run him over. That wasn't an option, right? So all I could do was stop in the middle of the street and let the turtle go by. And the car hits me because he's obviously not paying attention. And it's interesting because I got out of the car, and normally, I guess the natural reaction for someone is, why did this crazy guy just hit me? And I didn't care much about him hitting me. I needed to make sure that the turtle that was my only priority, that he did not hit me enough that it pushed me forward and caused me to harm the turtle. So I remember that, and that was probably about 10 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. And
see how impactful nature is on us, that you still remember the saving that turtle in that day.
I really do. In I think it was 2006, then Governor Jeb Bush appointed me to the South Florida Water Management District. And so a part of what we did, it's a 9-member board. And a part of what we did was, make sure that a part of our responsibility, make sure that waters were clean, right? Make sure that beaches and wetlands were clean, so that the wildlife that lived in those waters were not were not killed and were not negatively impacted from runoffs, from waste, from litter, right? So I think a part of being able to serve in such a, on $1 billion board and be responsible, for $1 billion organization. And Broward County was my territory, and being responsible for a community that too helped to instill the, some of the self-awareness, right? And the self-consciousness that I have. And so groups like yours, I can't say enough about it, right? We go out to the beach and we enjoy our freedoms, and we don't see and think about the Sophies, right? And the Clean Miami Beach, or type organizations. We just know that we have clean beaches and that we have access. And so it's people like you and your group that make that possible for us, Sophie. And so I appreciate you. I'm so proud to be sitting here with you and learning. What are some of the things we can do, Sophie, to help keep our beaches clean, help keep our society clean? What are some of the ways that we can contribute? What are some of the things that we can use and not use?
Right. So those are my favorite questions, and I am pleased to answer. I always like to say clean beaches start at home.
Okay.
And that's the truth. Obviously, we can all go to a beach cleanup and help us tackle the issue. And I believe everybody should do at least one cleanup just to understand our impact on the natural world. But ultimately, our ultimate goal is to reduce the waste in the first place. Okay. You asked me earlier too, what actually happens with the trash after you picked it up, right? So let's just reduce it in the first place. Everything we pick up, we're literally just moving from one place to another. Just because the other area is a designated area for the trash doesn't make it any better. Okay. And let's also think about let's just throw it away actually mean. If you think about the planet from space, where is away? So my favorite tip is, number one, stop using plastic water bottles. Okay. We can just have a reusable water bottle. I'm suggesting one out of aluminum that keeps the temperature. You can have it nice and cold without the bottle sweating. Or if you would like to have a coffee in there, it will be warm all day. Okay. So invest in a decent aluminum water bottle and install a water filter at home. Okay. I'm sure you have water refill stations here at the university. There's refill stations almost everywhere I go, in the library, in the gym, in my favorite place, in my bar, my restaurant, wherever I like to go. I always see water refill stations, even in the airport.
And so when you say water, now that... I want you to clarify. When you say water refill stations, you're not talking about the big container with the big water bottle, the apparatus with the big water bottle that we pick up and we put in there. That's not what you're talking about.
We could do that too. Okay. It is also, those don't get thrown out. Those big containers, they get picked up, sanitized, and refilled again. Okay. So it is just a form of storing the water for you to refill your bottle.
So a refill station, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I see them I go to hot yoga. And so I think there's one at hot yoga. It's now it's kind of built into the wall or for the most part. And you can take your bottle and just put it up there. And those are, I won't say fat, Sophie, but those are kind of new. That whole concept is for me, it's kind of new.
You know what? I think we are just all getting more aware of it. They have been here. Okay. We just didn't see them. Yeah. I'll take that. And most refrigerators also have it. So in our house, we can already fill it up in our house. Yes. And if our refrigerator doesn't have that, we can have a breather filter. Or my suggestion is to invest in a water filter that comes directly, that gets installed in the sink. Okay. So you can have like two handles, whatever, I don't know the word right now, where you can just refill it at your sink. But it is filtered. It's really important to drink filtered water for our own health.
So glad you said that. Kind of takes me. You're talking about getting rid of or not using plastic bottles. Plastic bottles have that BPA. Is that what the BPA?
Yes.
Which is harmful.
Correct.
Right? The BPA. Now here, I have a question for you. And so again, as I get older, I'm just becoming so conscious about so many things. I hate to waste food. I hate to waste water, right? I go to a restaurant and if it's a burger and a fry and a salad and all I really want maybe is the fry, but it only come in this because, or maybe it's dinner and they only serve it this way. I say, I just want fries. Don't bring the sandwich. Don't bring the salad. And I do that because I don't want to waste food. And so, they'll ask, well, are you sure that you don't bring anything? I just want this. Charge me the, $9,000. That's fine. But don't bring the food. I don't want to waste it. Water, I am the same way. I just don't like to waste water. Now, here's my dilemma. I think.
Tell me.
When water is, say, in the car, right? Say you come from the store, I come from the gym, and I still have water. It's in the car. It's hot. We're during the summertime now, and it's hot. I don't like to drink the water if it's been in the bottle in the car because I'm afraid that whatever the toxins are in that plastic have now been able to evaporate or been able to broken down into the water.
Correct. Yes.
And so it's not good for me
100%.
To drink that water. Here's my other. Now you tell me, Sophie. But my thinking is, I keep the bottle of water and maybe I can boil it and use it for tea because the heat will, kill any type of toxins or any type of bacteria. Or am I in the right ballpark, Sophie, or no?
Well, I am highly suggesting not to use plastic water bottles. Overall, even though if you just picked them up from the store, it is completely out of your control how they actually got there. Did they travel in a climate area, in a trailer that had climate? I see. So you don't even know, has this water bottle...
It could have already have been in heat. And Sophie, I had not thought of that.
You have no control about that. Additionally, it is not just the heat that releases harmful chemicals into your water inside of the plastic bottle. And I'm not 100% sure if boiling the water will kill the microplastics that have already been released. I highly doubt it. If you look at the recent studies that have just came out, microplastic has recently been found in human blood.
Wow.
We are not aware of, is it harmful for us? Where does it lead us to? What's the story behind it? But I can only imagine that it will definitely have an effect on our health. Let's go a step back. Plastic was invented and pushed into the market, especially single-use plastic, in the 60s, around there. So it only took us 50, 60 years to completely pollute our oceans with plastic. And now it is in our blood. So there is something going on and it cannot be healthy. So really the ultimate solution is to be more willing, conscious, aware of our being, of ourselves, of our children, and the planet we leave for them, their children, to stop using the plastic. Either way, if it puts something in our water or not, if it is harmful for us or not, is honestly not even the end of the story. Think of it this way. We are at a party and we get a red Solo cup. That one cup, we use it for what? I would drink 20 minutes, an hour, and then we throw it away. it ends up in the landfill and it stays there for 450 years. So who are we actually to make this kind of an impact of pollution to our future generations?
Wow. And so I'm so glad you said that. I am definitely going to work to not use plastics. And I have to tell you, I prefer glass.
Oh, yeah.
Me personally, I prefer glass. Personally, if I go out to a place, a restaurant, and they're serving drinks, I don't allow people to serve me out of plastic.
You're already a pro here.
Just every blue moon. And I'm still always just every blue moon. I don't like to be Downer Debbie, when you're out with people. So every blue moon, but I don't like to even be served out of plastics. And so your suggestion is you encourage us to just not buy plastics,
correct,
buy an aluminum, buy reusable bottles, which is realistic to kind of have travel with a bottle of water. We do that with the plastics. And so why not have a reusable or aluminum container that we use? We travel with coffee mugs, right? The Starbucks. So I think that's very realistic, Sophie. I think that's very realistic. And so even in our homes, right, most refrigerators have the water dispenser built into the refrigerator.
Correct.
If we don't, you say that we should go and purchase a filter.
Correct.
Walmart, Target, any Lowe's, purchase a filter that can be added to our water.
Correct.
Faucets in in our refrigerator, in our kitchens. And so I think I had one other question. And so for those of us that are just not at the point where I won't say us because I'm going to do it. For those that are just not at the point where, they can just right now cut it out, right? Just stop buying plastics. What are the suggestions then as it relates to recycling? Yes or no? And how do we do that?
Well, first off, I understand there is a big change we need to do, and it might not be as easy as it is for us, but we always have a choice. Another great tip, and it's completely free, is when we go to the grocery store, we can just bring our own reusable bags and skip the plastic at the checkout.
Okay.
How I do it, when I go home, I put my groceries away and I put the bags back on my doorknob.
Yes, Sophie. It's so funny. I'm so glad that you said that. I have probably 5 reusable bags home.
But at home, right?
Bingo. And I haven't gotten into the habit or the pattern yet of being able to bring them. But you just said something. When you said that, I said, you know what? I'm going to leave those bags near the door. But I like to leave things in the car too. I'm going to make sure that I leave some in my vehicles as well. So
that's what I mean. So you put them away, you put the bag on your doorknob. So the next time you go to the car, you grab them. You have no other choice.
Yes.
We all learned to carry a mask. So we can learn to carry a reusable grocery bag to the car.
Yes.
And then we have them in the car when we go shopping. There's no excuse, that we forgot them. No, they're in their car already.
I'm going to do that. Sophie, I am making a commitment to do that. So any plastic that's in my home, when it comes out, I will not be using that again. I swear to you, I have at least, maybe not 6. I know that at least 3. I've got at least 3 Publix. I've got the green bags.
See?
I've got at least 3 of them. And the purpose was to be able to take them with me when I go to purchase foods and walk back. Many times when I'm driving in from somewhere though, is when I stop, right?
See?
And so the bag is home.
Right.
So I am going to make a conscious effort to leave some in the car and leave some in the home. Yes.
Yeah. So always have them in the car. At home, you don't really need them.
Yes.
Have them in the car ready when you go shopping. Super easy.
Well, you have, listen, you have enlightened me. I know that you have enlightened our listeners. This recording, as I said to you, this is not just a recording for Atlantis University. This is a recording that's made in our studios, and our studios produces content that we like to share with our communities. And so fortunately, our communities will get a chance to hear this podcast and hear all of the information that you've shared, and more importantly, many of the solutions that you have provided. Sophie, you have caused me to not only be convinced, but I am now convicted, and I am going to change my plastic ways.
Yay!
I am going to change my ways. And I think that's a part of what someone like you would like to hear. Even if you can't get us all, if you just get us one at a time,
right.
Sophie, it makes a huge difference. It's very impactful. And so
every single thing, every piece matters. Every piece of plastic matters. Yeah. Sometimes my volunteers get a little overwhelmed and they think but we just cleaned here 2 weeks ago, this is pointless.
Yeah.
It's not.
So I'm glad you said that. What do you say to that? And I mean, is it pointless? Like what happens? We just have to, or you and even myself, when I'm picking up, right, throughout my community and where I live, do we have to just keep doing it?
Yes.
Sophie?
Oh, we have no other choice. There's not even a question. Really think of all the animals that are suffering right now, that are dying because of us not being able to or willing to change something in our life. Every change happens with us. We always have a choice. We can say yes or we can say no, always. So let's just make it a habit. Let's save the earth. Let's get together, coexist with all these other beautiful creatures in the ocean, in the forests, everywhere, in the air. We all are here to share this planet and call it our home. It is not just the home of humans, it's also the home of every other creature that lives out there. And we can be a little more respectful, It's like
excellent. OMG. So on that note, listen, I had every expectation. I shared with our engineer just what I expect to learn, that I knew that I would learn. My expectations have been superseded.
Ooh, wow.
So I thank you so much. There's behavior that I myself am going to change, and partly because I already want to, and the other part is because I know that it's necessary and I know that it's needed, and I want to make a contribution.
Yes.
And on that note, Sophie, again, you have by far been one of the best guests that I've been able to sit here with and learn. And so thank you for sharing. Thank you for the recommendations in terms of solutions and how we begin to change our behavior and make a difference. And at some point, I expect to be out on a beach with you, cleaning. I don't know when. I won't, but I expect to be out there. Sophie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We are ecstatic that you, our listeners, you tune in with us each week. You think enough of Atlantis University and AU Studios in particular, that you'll listen to us and that you share with us. We hope that we have said something today, as in all our previous podcasts, that has encouraged you and that has opened your eyes and expanded your horizons in terms of how you too can make a contribution to our society. With that being said, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again. AUstudios.com. Take care.